Alright, how's it going, guys? Welcome to my next video. Today I'd like to show you the process of animating character in Blender. I call her Liu. This is the character for my upcoming short school film. And now I'm modeling backgrounds, doing some layouts, storyboards and stuff like that. And also some test animations, which I'm really glad I can share with you guys. Okay, and if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell button to stay tuned for upcoming videos. And I speaked enough, let's do it. This might seem like a smooth process. This definitely wasn't a smooth process. This took me a few days. I was making a lot of mistakes, but you learn by making mistakes, so I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. For example, later on I realized the character has quite long legs, so I had to make them shorter. Also, I was changing head size or her hair bun. I made it bigger at the end to make it look better in silhouette. So I tweaked those things step by step, and Blender is really great for this because you can edit those vectors, those shapes. You draw like in editable curves, you know, you draw the shape, and this is not like bitmap or not like if you draw this in Photoshop or something. Like you can edit the stroke later like you would do in Illustrator or any other vector-based program. I don't need to redraw it each time, and I think it's great. Many people say they won't animate because they can't draw well. Actually, I was saying this to myself for a long time, and you know, I think it's never the right time to start. You just need to start, you need to do it, and you will improve. When it comes to drawing, I don't think I'm pro or I'm really skilled. I'm learning, and you're always learning. Even when you've been drawing for 20 years, there's still space to improve. You're still improving, you're still learning anatomy and all these things. Yeah, so I was saying to myself, oh, in 10 years I'll start animating because I will be able to draw better. Even if you don't draw that well, animating will also improve you at drawing, because you need to draw the characters from many angles, and this way you're building your visual library. Overall, it's great. You have so many software for 2D animation nowadays, and you could do this in TV Paint, Toon Boom, Flash, old school Flash, or Animate CC, whatever. I think it's great Blender implemented Grease Pencil. This is the only software I use now for 2D animation, and I think it's more than enough. It's perfect. And considering it's free, you know, I'm doing student film, so obviously it's low budget. There are many good things. For example, if you do coloring, if you color your character later on and you decide that some colors needs to be changed, you don't need to do this step by step. You can just change your materials like you would do normally on 3D object, and that's it. There are many amazing things. It also has its flaws, but you know, it's still in development, and I think it's just awesome. So I can say if you're hesitating which software you should use, I would definitely recommend Blender, even for 2D animation. Okay, I'm not saying the Blender is the only tool or the best tool you should use. It's just my preference. There are many other great software for animating, and especially when it comes to 2D animation, some other cool open source software worth checking might be Krita or OpenTunes. By the way, OpenTunes was also used by Studio Ghibli. Actually, I have very little experience with those softwares. My girlfriend used to work with OpenTunes. At the beginning it can be a little bit tricky. For me, OpenTunes had some pretty unconventional ways to do some things when it comes to exporting, and yeah, I think at some point it was a little bit complicated if you're not used to working with that software, but I think it's a great tool. Also, if you learn it, you might like it. But as I was saying, I have really little experience with it. I also made a short comics in Krita, and I liked it. It comes with pretty decent tools too, but I prefer Sketchbook. I do most of my illustrations in Sketchbook now. And yeah, I think it became fully free, and it's by Autodesk, and I think many of you know it. So I did the lines, and then one of the most satisfying things for me here was animating cloth. I think it added so much to the dynamics of the character. I think those loose sleeves and the secondary animation just add so much life to it. I love it. Most of the time I was copying the face, the wall head, But not always. I was changing expressions, especially when she jumps, she closed her eyes. Also when she's standing at the end on the right canvas, I had to redraw the face. As you see, the camera is a little bit behind her now, and more of her back and butt is exposed. So we're looking less from side and more from behind. I just want to say this is not from imagination. Well, some of it is, but I actually used reference for this. I used a reference video by Katie10. I'm sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. It really helped me, and anyway, thank you for the reference. I will post the link of the video in the description. I think it was an amazing reference for this. So this jump was from the video reference, and the last part when she stretches her leg. I took one photo on smartphone. Basically, the animation at the end was from imagination. You should not be afraid to use references because you learn from it. It's the same as with drawing. There were times when many people were like, oh, you're using references, isn't it cheating or something? Well, everybody uses references. I mean, well, it will always be better if you have some sort of guide, yeah, something which will help you. So it's definitely not cheating. It's unless you completely traced the character from video, yeah. So the thing like rotoscoping, which I personally don't consider to be an animation. I'm sorry. I know there can be pretty interesting results from that. I just don't think you need to be especially skilled to do rotoscoping. But yeah, you should not be afraid to use references. So next step, I did the coloring, and yeah, and this is what I was talking about. I was hesitating at first which color scheme should I use. And this is great. If you have materials, you can change it as you want. You can test different colors, different tones. So I chose these complementary yellow and blue colors. I think it's amazing that these tools became so widespread, so accessible. By the way, you can type down in the comments which animation do you prefer. Is it 2D, 3D, stop motion? I would be interested. Also, animating the hair strands was quite challenging. I was doing like 3 or 4 tests until I was at least a little bit satisfied with it. At some part those hair were floating around, they had like no weight. And when you think about it, the hair doesn't move that much when you jump. And after coloring, I did some basic shading. I added shadow on ground, also some shades on the character. And then I added some sort of motion blur effect. I did it in DaVinci Resolve. And I added a simple background and did some really basic color correction, as you can see in final result. So yeah, that's it guys, hope you learned something, hope you liked it. And as I said, if you liked it, please consider following my channel. And yeah, that's all for now, see you next time.